What's going on, you bunch of heretics, and welcome to the first proper Kitbash Corner. Today we are going to be making a Horus Heresy Legion Centurion, something a little bit different. I've got him holding a helmet. He's got this bit of a lance spear type thing, and also a bit of a different standard bearer. But yeah, a bit of a cool little kitbash that we're going to try and build today. So hopefully you'll find this video useful. Maybe it'll inspire you to take your own variant of this Centurion. But either way, we're going to have a little bit of fun, right? Oh yes, and of course everything you need will be in the description below, and I'm also going to lay it out to you on the next clip. Right, without further ado, let's build this guy. Okay guys, so for today's very simple kit bash, so you've got your base, a little bit of cork, your glue, so you're going to want some super glue, and I use the Tamaya extra thin cement, absolutely perfect glue. You might want some liquid green stuff, just as a bit of a gap filler, pliers, scalpel, or a modelling knife, and a file. We got some 1.5mm brass sort of tubing for the standard. Excuse me. Some more files. Obviously we've got your Centurion. We've got the HQ sort of like bits that go with it. And I've got the Mark 6 command squad. The Mark 6 command squad for the little bits and pieces that we're going to need there. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to snip out all the bits and pieces that you're going to want. So for this, I'll use my little pin here. I want the piece that's got the helmet in the hand, the arm that carries it, a shield to go on his back. We're going to want one of the swords off so we can cut this blade here. From the HQ upgrade, you're just going to want either the sword off this one if you prefer it, and I'm going to use the unhelmed bearded bald head. I think it looks really quite cool. And then of course just normal the rest of the this kit here. Alright. Okay, so now we have taken off all of the bits and pieces. We're just going to have a bit of a breakdown of what we're going to do. Now we're going to take off all of the mold lines. Luckily, with these Horus Heresy model ranges, there aren't that many mold lines to take off, so we should be pretty good. But all we're going to use, if we are going to do that, we've got ourselves a file, and a hobby tool, a hobby knife is always really good for taking off those mold lines. And of course, various files like this. What we're also going to do down is I'm going to glue the base down, a bit fiddly, of where I kind of have a rough idea of where I'm going to put it. Or what I'll do first, I'll make the main elements of the body, and then obviously I'll put down where I'm going to have his kind of feet going. That's his base. Or I'll make some changes to how I want that to sit, maybe even make it a bigger piece of cork if I need to. Some other bits we're going to be doing, and we'll get into it as well. You can either have him with the sword, or what I'm going to do today is I'm going to snip off the end part of this power mace, and we're going to attach the hilt of the sword instead, so it's a bit more of a lance type weapon, and just use it as a power sword really. But that's what we're going to do. Alright. Also, instead of him having the standard on his backpack, what we're going to do is we're going to have this piece of brass, and basically we're going to attach that to the end here, so it kind of sits more like an actual standard than it being on top of his back. Alright, and it'll just kind of like be in the ground out the way, and we'll cut this down to size as well. But first things first, mold lines off, and then we're going to build the actual main elements of the body. Alright, let's do it. Okay, so we've got the sort of like main body built. We've taken off our mold lines, and I've got my cork base on the actual base itself. So with the cork base, you really want to super glue this down. The plastic glue isn't going to be enough, but a good thick super glue is always going to help out. Once I've got that, I'm then going to do the same again. I'm just going to super glue the actual kind of base down to the cork base there. Alright, so a bit of super glue on the bottom. Again, the thick super glue is thick, okay, on the foot. It just helps sit a little bit better on the cork base. Alright. Cool. Now just give that a bit of time to dry. This will allow the cape area to kind of flow, and we can add little bits and pieces. It also just makes it raised a little bit, gives that more of that Centurion regal look as well, which I think looks quite nice. Alright. So now that we've done that, we're going to place the head onto the miniature. The problem is with this, guys, with the head for this, the way this, you are going to have to flatten the base of this. So just getting a simple file and just kind of flattening the bottom of it. The way this model is built, you'll see inside there's a bit more of a square base, so it doesn't really allow for the flatness. So you're going to have to flatten that down and then glue that into place there. All right. So with the head positioning, okay, just for kind of remembering, this is quite a regal look. He's a Centurion, so I've given him the kind of head off, a bit more of a regal, more mature look about him. When we're doing these things, we want to think about what is he going to be doing. Is he going to be looking down? Do I want him looking straight? We've got to be thinking that the spear or the power maul is going to be facing in this type of direction, and he's going to be holding this. So I want him kind of looking angled and probably this way, either looking up or looking across. All right. So when I'm placing it in, I think I need to be thinking about his head position and where I want him to be looking. But that's why we're giving it this more dynamic look and pose. Okay. So when I've got him in place, I want him to be looking to the side, maybe looking up slightly. Put that in place there. So he's looking out. He'll have his arm holding his helmet here, power maul that way, and he's just kind of looking out, more noble to the side. Alright. So next we are going to place on the holding of the helmet. So again, all these do is they just simply clip into the right place, glue them on, and place the helmet onto the arm area that it would go in and sit nicely. Again, square is quite a nice rounded hole, so it will just fit quite nicely onto the area that we're going to be having on there. Alright, so let's do that now. So with our arm, we do have this nice little gauntlet piece, this very teeny tiny gauntlet piece that you can see in my hand. Inside that you have placements for these. You are going to have to file these out. I've got a bit more of a circular file that I've just taken to it and just taken out the kind of fitting that it would have on there. And all I do now is just glue that into place here, just so it covers the arm as it should do on this model. Alright. So next, all we're going to do now, we're just going to put the arm on, the shoulder pads and the cape as per the normal direction, and then we'll get on to fitting the kind of spear and then the backpack onto his the shield onto his backpack, which is very, very simple enough to do. Well, that was a little bit fiddly, wasn't it? Yes, you've probably seen this is a very, very, very fiddly bit here, and we are probably going to, at the end of this, add a little bit of green stuff just in here, just to fill that, and maybe a few little other areas, just to kind of fill in some of those little gaps. Next up, okay, so we've got everything in place that we want in place. Next, we're going to place his power maul into a kind of bit more of a lance. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to snip off the lance here, the power maul here, and then at the hilt, just here, I'm then going to snip again there, file that flat, I will place on the hand first, like roughly where it's going to go. Ooh. And then, and only then, we will then glue on this part of the kind of the blade once everything's in place. Alright, last thing you want to be doing is trying to glue something in place and you've got this part cut off with something else new on it. Doesn't quite go the way you want it to. It's always the way, isn't it? So yeah, so like I say, all we're going to do, cut here, cut along here, file that down, file this part flat, place this hand onto the arm, then it goes into here, and then attached the blade. Alright, let's do it. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. That looks real nice. Real nice. I think maybe we might even leave it out. Let's leave it out. You know what? Let's leave it out. Let's not put that on there. We could do. No, we'll leave it out. Let's just leave it. Let's leave it and let's make our flagpole instead. So our standard is going to be this part like so onto here. We're going to snip. Yeah, we're going to snip this bottom element here. Okay. And we're going to line this flush and flat. Okay, with this pipe in here. All right. So that will sit nicely on there. And then once we've got that on and glued and super glued on, we will then kind of give a rough idea of how high up we want to make our banner. All right. Right. Okay. So we've cut down the brass stuff. I've super glued here and a bit of super glue into here, just where it's kind of the cape's coming round. He's not quite on him. So yeah, that's him kind of done. I probably will add. I'm going to add a little bit of green stuff in here just to kind of fill that. And once we've done that, we'll see the final result, shall we? Again, file here, it's a little bit of super glue just to kind of make that right. But otherwise, that's our Centurion. Almost there, guys, almost there. Right, and so with our green stuff added, just to kind of plug us some a little bit of the gaps here and there, I think he is about done, ready to lead his Ultramarines onto the battlefield. I'd love to know what you guys think to this sort of Centurion option with the kind of the spear / sword type thing, holding his helmet, a bit more regal look, and of course the standard that he has just floating around next to him. So yeah, let me know about this little simple kit bash. Nice and easy, nothing too wild, just something a bit different. Yeah, I like it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, guys, please give it a thumbs up if you don't mind. Leave a comment and hit that subscribe button. Right, see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.